Hey, g'day. Exciting day today. This is a new project for me that I'm getting involved in with Motorcycling Queensland. It's an initiative set out by MQ and Motorcycling Australia. And I'm going to introduce you to John Pennell, and he's going to tell us what I'm doing here today.
John Pennell from Motorcycling Queensland. Motorcycling Queensland 4 days a week and 1 day a week. I'm the riding blind coach, navigator, manager. We've been going since May this year, and we're expecting a big turnout today. Should be a lot of fun. Yeah, so we had a guy called Chaz come in to see us sort of early last year, and he said, I used to ride when I was younger, had a little bit of my vision at that point, don't have any left now, still want to ride. You guys are the motorcycling people, what do you got for me? And we said, you need to come in for a meeting. So Simon and I and his support worker Jack, we sat down together at the table and we sort of fleshed out a plan for a voice navigated riding session to test its viability. We carefully wrote out our plan, sent it off to MA and said, will you pretty please insure this? And to their credit, they said, yes, we will. And so we came back and we ran our session, found it to be viable, and away we went. So by the end of last year, 4 people had done voice assisted riding here at Queensland Moto Park.
Chaz Nelson, retinopathy of prematurity. Totally blind from birth, just got a tiny bit of light and shadow vision. I grew up in a small country town and my parents had the attitude of, he doesn't get held back. If he wants to do what the other kids do, he does it. And I liked what the other kids did, so I did what all the other kids did, was motorcycling, swimming, everything, you know. And obviously I got a liking to motorcycling. Yeah, well, I moved down to Brisbane and obviously, you know, for 13 years I just kept getting these itches all the time. It's, you know, I want to go for a ride again, and you know, even people said to me, mate, that part of your life's over, you've just got to let it go. You know, you can still go for a double on the back with someone, but driving is over, it's done. And I said, no, you don't understand how it feels. I want to do it again. And I got into contact with Ben Felton, who did the land speed record as a blind person, and ironically my housemate had him as his number in his phone because they played blind cricket together. So I just rang him and said, mate, I want to ride again. How did you do it? He said, well, I just got a navigator to follow me and I did it. He said, obviously don't do 270 kilometers an hour like I did. He said, but mate, if you want to do it, anything's possible. Don't go with the people who say no. They've already made up their minds. Don't try and prove to them that you can do it. Find the people that even give you a tentative yes and you'll go 1,000 miles further.
Fantastic.
So I did. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
So I did. He said, I went through Motorcycling New South Wales, you should go through Motorcycling Queensland. So I rang them, I told them that I knew him, and they said, what do you want to do? I said, I just want to ride again. That's what I want to do. And they said, well, let's give it a go. And so, yeah, I came out here and pretty much did what he did, obviously, except on a smaller level. And I remember the first ride, they said, we just want you to take off, go forward 20 meters and then, you know, put the brakes on and stop. And I did that with Simon and John. And they just turned to each other and they said, what do you think? And they said, well, he wasn't lying, he clearly can ride. And then to be honest, it just went from that. To this. It went from that to me and Jack Elkins riding around navigating for 6 months to a year, and then all of a sudden people hearing about it and wanting it to get better. I never thought it would go this far, honestly.
Yeah.
It was just me wanting to get out there and ride again.
Yeah.
I never dreamed of it getting this far. Oh yes, it's so good though. Beautiful.
Chris Hilton, limited and changing vision from a head injury 43 years ago. To be back out here and doing this is unreal. Fantastic is the understatement. And I want it to go forever.
Yeah. And I'll ask you one question. How's the fun factor?
Immense. Immense.
Yeah.
And the people here, everyone's got a common goal and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the last time we moved back. So drop your hand around the grip. And what we're going to do... No. Toes. Yeah.
So we're not using a hand?
Not for now.
Not moving feet and just putting them.
We'll incorporate that later. Okay, so for now, we're setting our foot on the peg. Just let that foot lever out. Let the bike roll for a bit.
Yep.
And now lever back in and put out, stop.
amazing. It's so good. I can't believe I remembered all the instructions. It's so good to just go fast again.
Yeah. So
And the cues of like counting down to the corner is
Yep.
good. But I think I just personally found it hard. It's a bit of a wimp to do the corners, or like I'd do it sooner or whatever. It's hard to kind of listen. Sherry, retinitis pigmentosa. Technically, I'm legally blind, but I've got a small. I used to call it tunnel vision, but it's more like a keyhole now. It's quite a small window of central vision, but all of my periphery is gone.
So why are you here riding bikes?
Why not?
Why not?
Because I can. Finally, I can. There's a awesome project set up that lets me do something that normally I wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
So I wasn't always visually impaired. I got diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa probably only 10 years ago.
Okay.
And the symptoms started about 20 years ago. So it's I used to be able to drive a car and loved it.
Yeah.
Always wanted to get a motorbike license, but my vision declined before I was able to go and ride a motorbike, like for real. And so it was something that I thought that I'd missed out on doing. And then I saw, I think it was on a Facebook share or something, that this project existed, and I was so excited I was able to come and actually give it a go.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. And now,
first one for the day.
awesome.
So you're going to ride behind me? Helen Jane Boardman, motorbike extraordinaire.
Motorbike, I love it. And how many weeks have you been doing this?
I was one of the first with Chaz.
Yeah.
It's nearly a year ago now.
Fantastic.
And we have a lot of fun. The navigation systems are getting pretty good now.
Fantastic.
And
Well, my name's Nick. I'm a navigator, support worker for Love to Assist. I'm down here with Helen Boardman. Helen's blind, vision impaired, B2, and we've been doing motorbiking for about 4 weeks now, and just riding around the track here. I sit on a separate bike with a helmet, microphone, and just direct Helen around the track. So we'll go normal way round because we know our way round. Instead of going anti, we'll just go clockwise. All right? Let me just turn around. Turning, Helen!
hi, Sherry. I'm Helen. Hi, Sherry. Are you having fun? Sorry, Nick. Fun of riding and the freedom that it gives is more than just riding around in a safe environment. Yes, we have a safe environment where we have a navigator, but being enabled to ride a bike on your own again, because I used to ride bikes, is just freedom. And the wind in your hair, well, in your helmet,
Yeah.
is, that feel of just being on your own with a motor under you, being enabled to do it because of people like John who believe in us, and we can actually do it. And once you get riding around, you find that the independence. Probably rode 25 years ago, and then as I'm losing my sight, I thought that's the one thing I'm going to really miss, because I just knew that I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. It's given me that freedom back, that sense of freedom back that I had riding around the African bush in Zimbabwe. Rev the engine and take myself somewhere. And the navigation system that we're using is very comforting. So what happens is there's a Bluetooth system into our helmets, and the navigator who's on their own bike behind us will speak us through the corners, whether there's a kangaroo in the way, stop, whether you're going into the river, do stop. And a pretty difficult job for the navigators because they have to be forward thinking, because we're traveling in front and we might go, rev and go fast, and they've got to keep up, plus tell us before we get to the corner that we're actually going to turn, 3, 2, 1, turn right or whatever, and then we've got to listen and interpret that and do it. And so it's a trust thing between the navigator and the rider, and it works really well if we follow the instructions.
And then I'll quickly switch hands to here. This is a really light throttle. Really light.
She's done it. If you can hear me, explain your injury.
Well, because I haven't been on there for a while, probably about, if 1 being the smallest, 10 being the biggest.
Yeah.
So probably, a 6 or a 7.
And stable, he's ready to roll. So and he's already found his rear brake. So we talk about, when we're getting started, we're talking about making that big tripod with the left foot and always trying to keep that right leg super glued to the foot peg and ready to use that rear brake all the time.
Yep.
Because what we're finding is, because these guys are digging so much deeper into the bag of courage than your everyday beginner riders, if they're heading down the hill and the bike tips right and they have to take their right foot off the peg, then they're going to go to the front brake instead. And then we get the porpoising on the fork, and then we get potential out of control, potential crash. So yeah, we try to always keep this smooth, left foot weighted on the rear brake with the right foot. Okay, so we'll start off. Again, we start off really tiny steps and work our way up. So what we're going to do, Zach, is where we've started the other few times. We'll start off with just like a 5 meter roll forward. We're just basically scootering it a little bit, keeping that right foot locked in place, scootering a bit with the left foot, come forward 5 meters and then pull up for me on that rear brake.
Okay.
Yes, please, mate. When you're ready.
Okay.
So yeah, whenever you're ready, man, we'll just give it a little bit of a go.
We lost you.
Yep. Okay, now just use that rear brake and pull up.
Sweet as.
You found your balance there, that's good. Now we want that to happen early on, that's good. Okay, so same again, mate, give me another one of those. Come towards my voice, mate.
I'll give you a bit of a push in the back.
This is great, okay, pull up. Cool. Now that was one of Zach's little victories that you saw right there. So when that bike fell to the right, in the past, as soon as his right foot left the rear brake, his right-hand would go to the front brake, and the fork would start diving and we'd be into controlled, stressful situations, Yep. But I don't know whether you noticed it right just then. He was as cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
His right foot went out. That right hand doesn't even think about going to the front brake anymore.
Yes.
So he's all focused on using that rear brake all the time. Okay, now Zach, as you've noticed, mate, it doesn't want to roll. So what do we need to do? We need to point it downhill a little bit more, don't we? Yep. So we'll just bring it forward like one little turn of the wheel. There we go. That's got our angle good. And it should kick off and roll for you now. So give us about a 5 or a 10 metre run, mate, just whatever feels nice. All right. Okay, kick her off, let's go. Now let go of that front brake and forget about that. Okay, pull up for us. Rear brake.
On the bike here, this is the first time riding with the motor running, John?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I'm on the 110, because I want to get no clutch, because I want to get clutch control. I want to get.
Let's give him some distance. Yeah. We're ready?
Okay, nice low grip, love it. Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Yes. 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 Shut.
Woo! Yes! There you go.
Good stuff, mate. Well done.
How does that feel, Zach?
Feels great. I want to do it again. I want to keep going.
Pat O'Connell from Ipswich Dirt Bike Hire. Supply bikes and coach. Did everything. Supply thrills. Since we started, whenever that was, beginning of the year, with Chaz actually, beginning of last year. Awesome. Yeah, just always blows me away how well they do and the dramas that they've got to get through and do it. Yeah, man, it's awesome. They all love it. Some come and have a go and then, don't go again. But they come and have a go, so it's good.
We're very privileged that you've all come out and having a go. We're also very privileged to have John and the team of navigators and helpers and coaches to be out here helping us each week. And I just want to say a big thank you to all of you guys, because you make it what it is.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
It started out with just Chaz and I, but it's going great guns. And just to see everybody out here having a good time, feeling the freedom that we feel is fabulous. Can you say something, Chaz?
Yeah. Well, really, you've summed it up. I was going to, but I mean, yeah, like basically, the thing is, I guess, Helen and I have always wanted to do it, but without all of you guys, like John and Pat and Jack and Daniel, and the list goes on, we wouldn't have actually been able to do it.
Yeah.
So it's really great that it's turned in, to come from basically just one person or two people wanting to ride, turning to such a massive scale.
Yeah, and the more you tell your friends, the more people that come and have a really good time. So thank you, everybody. Well done. Excellent.
That's a wrap for today. So that was an amazing experience for me. JP over here. So yeah, mate. Best of luck, I hope you just keep rolling them out and looking after these people.
Mate, now that you've had a chance to sample it for yourself, you can see that you'd be hard placed to find a more satisfying coaching experience than what you saw today, hey? The amount of value that we can give to people by just opening up the world of motorcycling to them. It's incredible.
Yeah, Zach's response there sums it all up, mate.
Yeah. And it's a reminder to us too, like why are we here? Why are we drawing here? When we see that response, we know why we're drawing here, because motorcycling's amp people. It turns them on.
Yeah.
It turns them on.
Good effort, man.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming.